Welcome back. This is episode 2 on how to throw an effortless forehand. If you missed out on episode 1, be sure to check out the link below. You can watch it. It is basically our end result of what we want our forehand to be. But in this series, we're going to be taking a deep dive into all the mechanics behind the forehand throw. And that's whether you're a beginner or someone who's trying to refine those techniques. This series is going to be great for you because we're going to start with some basic stuff and we're going to build on those building blocks throughout the entire series to achieve a smooth, powerful, injury-free forehand. And today we're going to be talking about 3 things that I think are very important. They're not any sophisticated stuff, but I think they're very important. And then I will end at the end of the video with a drill that you can do that helped me a ton with my spin, my touch, and the mechanics on making sure I don't roll my wrist over. So I will show that drill at the end of the video. Before we get too far into the video, do me a huge favor, subscribe, especially if you're new or you're returning. Do me a huge favor. I try to put a lot of content out there, especially on things that I learned throughout my journey in disc golf, and I love to share it with you guys. And I do some disc reviews and just a lot of all around disc golf stuff. So do me a huge favor, subscribe, and we're going to talk about the first thing that I think is super important, and that is to have the correct stretching. A subscriber actually commented down below and said, hey, make a video, or could you make a video about stretching? And I was like, that's a great idea. I stretch, but I never thought about making a video, and I think it's a great place to start because this will help you prevent injury. And I have had injury before, and it's not fun. So we're gonna start with stretching. There are basically 3 levers in the forehand. We are not gonna talk about the entire body. We're just gonna talk about the arm. We got the shoulder, we got the elbow, and we got the forearm and the wrist, but shoulder, elbow, wrist are the levers. So if we're gonna talk about the shoulder at first, I love to do active stretching. Static stretching is good, but I love active stretching, which is something that basically just keeps the muscle moving versus holding it and keeping it paused. So I love to do these big swings. You can also do little ones. You can change the rotation, but anything to break up just the tightness. I will say this also kind of gets your pec and the back. So it's a great thing to do this. You can also hold these. I have no problem with static stretching. It's good to do it. So I just love active stretching better. But yeah, you can hold that. You can also pull that hand over, grab your elbow, pull back. That's gonna stretch your tricep. Also help loosen up your shoulder. And then I have one that I actually really like. Get down and just use gravity and your momentum. It actually feels really good. I can feel it in my back and my shoulder. It feels really good. You kind of just let gravity swing it around. And then you can stop and go the other way. But any kind of stuff that you can do to loosen up the shoulder is always good. You got these active bear hugs right here. You can do that right there. I love these. I can feel it. Feels good, feels good, feels good. Okay, if you have a band, you can grab a band right here, stretch it, pull it. Oh, that feels really good. And then just rotate all the way around and back. It's a great way to stretch the shoulders. Now we'll stretch into the elbow. There's not a whole lot of ways to stretch the elbow, but something I do that helps me is when you get into throwing your forehand, your elbow does come forward. So I just use the back of my hand and real gently pick up on it. I can feel that stretching back here, but I also can kind of feel it in my elbow. You do not want to have pain. If you're doing this and this hurts, don't do this. If any time at any point you're stretching and it hurts, it's a good pain, but you don't want a bad pain. So I just stretch it. I try to get my elbow just used to coming forward and getting used to that. So there's that. This is really where I think the best stretching comes from, especially if you've ever had golfer's elbow. You got tennis elbows on the outside and golfer's elbows on the inside. This is called your medial epicondyle, and what you have is the muscles and the tendons that run down from your fingers along your forearm. They rotate and they connect right here, and that's why you have a lot of inflammation and just irritation right here, is because you're using those muscles, and it's just a very, very, very common spot in your elbow to have problems. So some great exercises and things that we can do to prevent injury there and also strengthen those muscles. We don't have a lot of mobility this way, but we got a ton of mobility this way. So what we can do is if you take your arm, put your hand straight out, wrist is straight down. I would hold this for like 15 seconds or so. Just gently pull back to where you can feel some stretch on the muscles on the top of your arm. Just pull that back, 10 or 15 seconds. This is the one that really gets these muscles, and this is to me the best one. Hold your hand straight up, grab your fingertips and pull back. Hold it for 15 seconds or so, and you're gonna have to figure out what's comfortable for you. But the more you pull back, the tighter it's gonna be down here, but it's gonna be a great way to stretch. And sometimes when I get done, I kind of just like let my wrist flop a little bit. It kind of helps those muscles loosen up both directions. And then you can take your time to do 15 seconds each. If you want to do 30 seconds, I mean, there's not really a specific time limit, but I usually do 15 to 30 seconds, somewhere in there, where I just feel like, okay, that's pretty good, that's pretty good. Another thing you can do if you have a band, and I love this one, or if you have a dumbbell. I know you're probably not gonna have a dumbbell at the course, but if you're at home and you want to strengthen these muscles, it's a great way to do it. So if you have a band, you can basically stick your arm out. You really want it on a table or something, but you can hold it like this. Pull that band up, and then slowly let that band rotate down. Pull it up, slowly let it rotate down. Now, if doing this is hurting your elbow, what you want to do is start in the up position and then slowly let the weight go down. Do not try to pick it back up. You got to start somewhere, and that may be the place you have to start, but you just want it to let it roll down to the tips of your fingers, just like that. Pick it back up, but don't pick it up if it hurts. But that's what I love to do. I love to do these. That's going to strengthen a lot of these muscles down here, and those are a great exercise you can do. So that should take care of just about all of the joints there that we have going on in the forehand throw. So now that we're done with stretching, we're gonna get into the second point. Most people watching probably know why you want to throw a forehand, but I thought there may be people out there that are thinking, why would I even want to know how to throw a forehand? And so I'm gonna break down a little bit on the forehand, on why you would even want to throw a forehand. So we're just gonna say a person that's right-handed, throws a right-hand backhand. You throw the right-hand backhand, the disc is gonna spin clockwise. The disc is spinning to the right. When it slows down and loses momentum, it'll actually finish to the left. So it finishes opposite of the way it's spinning. So that's a right-hand backhand. If you're a left-handed player, you're gonna throw it and the disc is gonna spin counterclockwise. One way that a person that is right-handed could get the disc to go right, not left, other than disc selection, but we'll get into that later, is a forehand. If you're a right-handed player and you throw a forehand, you come through, you throw your forehand, that disc spins counterclockwise. And what that does is it gets the disc to move right. I have a good example of this on why you'd want to throw a forehand. I was recently watching Simon and Eagle do their Champions Cup practice round. They get to a hole, it's a mando, it's a triple mando, it's out there a ways. You can tell it's a pretty tough gap to hit. Eagle says, I've been thinking about laying this up in the tournament because I don't want to miss that mando. But he steps up with a forehand. He said, but I'm gonna try a forehand. Steps up, laces the gap, hits it perfect. Just skips over towards the basket. He has a putt at the basket. Simon says, and Simon's a fantastic backhand player. I mean, he is one of the best backhand players. So he throws great backhands, and he steps up and says, this really is a forehand hole. What he meant by that is in order to throw your disc right-hand backhand, you have to have something with a late understability, a late flip. If you throw it flat or slight anhyzer, you actually probably want to throw it with hyzer, let it flip up, let it get as far down the fairway as possible or through the gap, and then you want it to turn and fade and get, or not fade, turn and get to the right. And that is extremely hard to do, very hard to do. There's only a few people that are top-notch, just absolute, don't need to throw a forehand, and those are like Isaac Robinson, James Conrad, Ezra Robinson, and they still occasionally throw a forehand in there every once in a while. So unless you're just a rare breed that throws backhands on everything, it's very doable, but it makes your game a lot harder, and to have the tool of a forehand really opens up a lot of the game. So I think for the general population, having a forehand and a backhand and being confident in both really just elevates your game so much more. It does for me anyways. I love that I am comfortable stepping up to the tee and throwing a forehand, just like I am comfortable standing up and throwing a backhand. Doesn't matter for me, I can do either. I'm not as good as the pros, but I feel very comfortable stepping up to the tee and throwing either one. So it's a big deal. Another thing that throwing a backhand versus a forehand does, if I throw a forehand and it's fixing to start cutting around the corner, the nose of it's actually up, so you can actually get some ground play and some skip and actually get further to the right. If you throw a backhand and it's cutting and it's coming in, it actually comes in nose down. So if it comes in too much of an angle, it'll actually cut roll and actually go back to the left. And so there's just a lot of pros to having a good forehand. If you have a wooded course and there's a really technical line that bends from, like let's say I'm throwing out here and it bends from the right to the left and then back to the right, that is almost impossible to do with a right-hand backhand player. You have to take something very understable, throw it out to the right on hyzer, let it flip up, and then let it come back to the right. It's going to be extremely hard. So having the forehand definitely helps. So I feel like this is a great tool. I don't want to keep going on it, but it's good to have. So that may be the reason why you would want to have a forehand. To me, it just makes the game a little bit easier. The last thing we're going to talk about is something I seen from Paul Ulibarri, and this will be the drill that we will end today's video on, and you want to do it with putters. There's a couple things you're going to focus on. Only focus on two things on this video mainly, and that's making sure your wrist mechanics are where they need to be. We do not want to roll our wrist, and we do not want to really go palms up, so it's just a side-to-side motion. Your palm is actually a little bit up, but I do not want you doing this. That's not good. So all you're gonna do is take this disc and flick your wrist out there. That's all you're doing. And you're just trying to get as many rotations as possible on the disc. That's it. This is gonna help you with touch, it's gonna help you with spin, and it's also gonna help you with those mechanics and making sure that muscle memory gets there. That way later in the series, you're not rolling your hand over. You've already done a lot of practice out here, flicking these things. Just little flicks out there. Another really cool thing is if you can get the disc to just set on the grass and just spin, that's a good indication that you're getting good spin. Well, that about wraps it up. Those three things I know may seem a little bit elementary or common sense, but forehand longevity and injury prevention goes a long way with me because I have injured my elbow before and it sucks. Any injury sucks, and so anytime that we can take the necessary steps to prevent those injuries is great. And I felt like Donald Trump there for a second. It's great. Anyways, and then that last little drill, when I first seen it, I thought that's very elementary. I was like, man, that's kind of dumb. I was an advanced forehand player. I did it, and it actually helped my forehand game. So thank you, Paul Ulibarri. And episode 3, we will basically elaborate on that drill, talk about a few other points, and just hone in this process of throwing a forehand. So thank you guys for watching. Until I catch you in the next one, be sure to subscribe, go in peace, and be blessed.